This month I have my course evaluated by Roxanne De Leon, a world-renowned brain-based learning expert from Orlando, Florida. The purpose of the evaluation was to get an outside opinion on our teaching methods and suggest ways to improve our classroom delivery. Currently, our lectures consist of PowerPoint presentations as our media assets. The PowerPoints have high-definition video clips of console operations, which is what we teach. We have actual consoles in the classroom that we use for demonstration. Here are her evaluations as they fall into the following 4 specific brain-based learning elements. Under the element of approach, which is reaching the left and right brain preferences for whole brain learning, our lecture material favors the left brain learners. The material is presented in sequence, from basic operations to more advanced, with step-by-step instructions. The lecture provides detail about the operation before they actually sit down in front of a mixing console and lab, making the learning experience more structured and the labs predictable. These are all indicative of left brain learners. The lecture PowerPoints do contain some video footage and pictures, which favors the right brain learners. Also, the lectures did throw in random experiences, which often contain novelty and humor. However, there is no experience before information is given and no randomness or surprise in the lecture. There was also no big picture outline in the lecture, giving more of a whole-to-part experience. More could be done to accommodate the right brain learner. Under the heading of priming or pre-exposure, the lecturer provided an opening slide outlining topics to be covered in the day's lecture. He also shared some thoughts on the opening moments on how the lecture material would apply in real-world situations, grabbing the students' attention. Lecture was very animated at times, making the class feel more comfortable and engaged. He did not, however, ask the students to discuss their goals and interests or find out where they were in their knowledge and skill level. Lecture did not ask questions of students to engage them or immerse them. We would like to have seen more of a two-way exchange between student and teacher. Under the heading of novelty, oftentimes the lecturer humored the class by impersonating different characters or giving outlandish real-world experiences. This oftentimes had the class laughing out loud or shaking their heads in disbelief. In both cases, it grabbed the attention of those that were starting to drift off and kept them wondering what he would say next. Overall, there was a pretty good balance of predictability and novelty. Under the heading of motivational strategies, lecture was good in several areas of motivation. The lecturer went out of his way to be likable and let the students know they could contact him anytime. He allowed the students to choose their own lab groups so they could be able to be with their supporting friends. He also let the students know that no matter how far behind they got, the team was there for them and ready to assist them in any way to get them up to speed. In the final mix lab, students are free to mix their own material and be creative with the mixing process. Some additional work could be done in this area by sharing success stories. Also, by discovering the students' needs, we can adjust the curriculum to give them what they need. After reading the results of Ms. De Leon's evaluation, I realized that I had been stuck in the old school mentality of lecture-based education. I then decided to do more research in the areas that needed improvements. We had made our course interesting by using actual console demonstrations and adding console operation videos in the PowerPoints. Lectures are upbeat and based around real-world experiences. Even with that, I could see there was much improvement that needed to be made in all areas of brain-based learning. The following are some of the strategies that could be encompassed in our classroom teaching techniques. Under approach, it's obvious that through evaluation that we were favoring our left brain learners, and I decided to readjust our delivery to appeal more to the right brain learners. They prefer more spontaneity and randomness. They would rather see and experience what is in store, or look at the big picture, if you may. Some of our solutions would be, since each of our lectures follows the exact same format every day, we're going to change it up a bit. I recommend opening the lecture with a video that reinforces the big picture of the day's topic before moving on to the core material. This would aid learning from whole to part. To help with spontaneity, I suggest dropping in a relative video or open up a topic for discussion during lectures. Also, we can allow students to get involved by asking them to come up and demonstrate tasks on the consoles as they are being taught, allowing them to experience the subject matter before they actually get to labs. Under the category of priming or pre-exposure, we did pretty well. All of our lecture PowerPoints and lab objectives are available online along with book chapters and study guides before the classes even start. The opening slides outline materials that would be covered in the day's lecture. There are two areas that could use some improvement. One would be to bring more relevance to the subject matter, and the other one would be to make exchange of information more of a two-way exchange. Techniques we could use in the classroom to improve our priming and pre-exposure would be to bring relevance of the subject matter using real-world situations. Our consoles are used daily around the world, giving us many examples to choose from. This technique helps students stay more focused, knowing that the material will immediately impact their career. Another idea we could implement right away would be engaging the students more by posing open-ended or what-if type of questions. This causes them to look for solutions in the lecture material. Under the category of novelty, my associate and I are pretty well animated and witty during lectures. We walk the room and even use voice imitations to keep the students smiling and hold their attention. When we see attention waning, we change it up or get them laughing to draw them back in. Because our lectures are outlined and available to students, there is a good balance of novelty and predictability. Although we fared well in this category, there is always room for improvement. One idea would be to have a guest lecturer come in and speak. This would not only break up the normal flow of things, but it would bring in real-world experience. Another technique would be to make a daily change in the environment. This could be music, lighting, or even where you stand as you lecture. The brain will recognize the change and treat it as a fresh new stimulus, thus drawing it to learn it. Under motivational strategies, we do offer choices to students and provide them with performance feedback in each one of their labs. We also set them up to succeed by letting them know that we are there for them should one of them fall behind. Here are some areas where we could continue to motivate students. Sharing success stories is one sure way to motivate students. At our university, we have hundreds of success stories in any given learning discipline. Showing them that they are following in the footsteps of other graduates gives them the courage to succeed. Another way to motivate is to learn what our students' needs and goals are so that we can better recognize and address them. I suggest that we have each of them at the beginning of the course fill out a brief questionnaire telling us a little bit about their goals and aspirations. We can then tailor their learning experience and even give them a shout out during lecture to reinforce social bonding and give them acknowledgement. In conclusion, as teachers, we always want to think we're doing the best job we can in teaching. In order to achieve this, we must remember we can never stop being students. We need to continue to grow as teachers, not only by increasing our knowledge of the subject matter, but also by learning new techniques to reach our students. What a better place to focus on than the brain, the source of all of our teaching and learning. I found that this evaluation had really opened my eyes to better ways to reach my students. This allows me to convey information that is vital to their success. As the mysteries of the brain unfold, so do the possibilities to better reach our students. I, for one, will be ready to learn more.